tap dance individuals who were prominent in the 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe even the 60s. And the majority of them, 11 years later are now gone.
Right.
And there really isn't anybody in the generation after to carry on all of their legacies. So we have this interesting preservation issue. And tap dance is an oral tradition, so we have this idea that, we have a cultural issue because a lot of the things that we do now are online and it's all virtual. And the idea of an oral tradition where you pass on stories and technique and kind of purpose and drive in an intimate relationship doesn't happen that much today. So what the Tap Legacy Foundation really tries to do is twofold. It tries to do the preservation work necessary to keep the stories and the things that we have accessible in terms of documentation around. But we also try to produce events that will allow the oral tradition to continue to happen. So things where people from multiple generations can get together for a reason and then have time within the context of the event to share stories.
Makes sense. And no matter what they're involved in, whatever type of music or something, you can work that in there.
Right, exactly.
Because I read something that I was just blown away by, that you actually were the only tap dancer to be featured in, now I'm not good with foreign language, so La Nuit du Hip Hop.
Yeah.
A night of hip hop.
The night of hip hop, a night of hip hop, yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely.
So how did you do that? How did you incorporate hip hop into tap dancing, or tap dancing into hip hop?
Well, I mean, that's really I have to thank Brian Greene for that. I mean, any time where two forms are featured side by side, both artists need to be open enough to allow the translation to happen. Mm-hmm. And Brian is a phenomenal hip hop dancer. Also a house dancer, and we've been working together. We were working together a little bit before that particular event, and have worked together since on a number of projects. And I've been really blessed to not have as closed a mind as I think I do.
Okay.
in certain instances, just in the sense that, oh, you play an instrument? Cool, I can play with you. Oh, you dance? Okay, I can dance with you. Mm-hmm. And it really doesn't matter to me what kind of music you play or what kind of dance that you do. I feel like it's my job to be able to translate what I do so that you understand it.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
And so a lot of my work is being aware of as many kind of other forms that are out there, or at least developing a technique that is variable enough, that has enough variance built in, mm-hmm. that whatever somebody throws at me, I can adapt to that.
And do something with it, yeah.
And do something with it that they would understand.
Right. Oh, that really, you are amazing to be able to do that, to conform to so many different things that people do these days, or different types of music, like you said, or even a dance, to be able to go ahead and fit in and tell your story along with their story.
Yeah. Well, there's, Bruce Lee used to talk about, how water conforms to whatever it's put in. Mm-hmm. So the goal for an artist is to be the water. It's not to be the cup.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so regardless, Bruce Lee was working in terms of martial arts, so he had all these forms, but when a fight actually happens, you just want to be able to either defend yourself or, take out the threat. So you can't do that if you're stuck in a singular form.
Right.
You have to be stuck within the context of the fight, but not within the context of your form.
Right, and not everyone is going to be the same.
Right, exactly. So for me, my context is actually both dance, which is movement, or music, which is sound. So long as I'm as comfortable or flexible as I can be within both those contexts, then hopefully I'll be able to settle into something, given a variety of either dance styles or musical ideas.
Yep, and I can see that you can do that just by the things that I've read and the videos that we watched. Now, David and I watched one that he showed me. It's what was it called, David? It's Gregory's fault, or it's Greg's fault?
Yeah,
or
why is
something?
it's Greg's fault?
What was that about?
Yeah.
That
true.
was good.
I mean, it was so true.
That was a good one. Now, David and I both wondered, how do your feet not get tired?
Yeah.
My feet are actually fine. It's the rest of my body that can get tired if it wants to.
Really?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I've done hour and 15-minute long shows and not been sore, and then I've done 15-minute sets and been completely sore. So I don't know yet exactly what makes that happen or not happen. I'll take it as a gift every time I'm not sore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
do you
I don't necessarily think I'm doing anything different, but who knows?
Do you have a specific workout regimen that you do to keep in shape?
I do.
To be able to, yeah. What do you do?
Yeah, I do. I do a series of routines developed by Jim and Phil Wharton, and they're based on this theory called active isolated flexibility, or it's called, also known as dynamic flexibility nowadays, where I don't, it's basically range of motion exercises.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So I do a flexibility routine based on that, and then there's a complementary strengthening routine. So the majority of my work nowadays is actually that. It's just making sure that my body is symmetrical as much as it can be, because I do have a favorite leg.
Yeah,
as it were.
I think we do. I'll do, yeah.
Yeah. I ice up, take some ice baths every now and again whenever I can. And I used to actually run hills, which was really fun, but I haven't been able to do that in a while.
All you need to do is come to Chicago during the winter, and you can go in the lake. You don't need an ice bath.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that'd be funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if onlookers would be kind to me at that point.
Well, they have that thing that they do every year here, and I can't think of what it's called, but a bunch of people will jump in the lake, and when it's frozen like that, when it's ice cold, and then get out and say, "Yay, we did it!" Well, okay,
right.
Why?
Oh wow, that's funny.
So maybe you could join them. Then it won't look funny.
That'll work. I don't mind that.
Well, you also have your own tap dance company, CPD PLUS, Cats Playing Dues, now, or Paying Dues. First of all, I want to know how you came up with that name.
So the company started out as a trio, and we basically took all the initials of everybody,
mm-hmm.
and tried to find words that included as many as possible.
Oh.
So that was the starting point, because I had no clue where, what the name of the crew should be or would be, and then it ended up being what it is. And basically, cats are kind of a term of endearment in the jazz world.
Yes,
also a term for somebody who's really hip.
Yeah, you're a hip cat. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a hip cat, you know what's going on. And and the idea of paying dues was very prominent at the time that I started the company, which was 2005, and I was spending a lot of time around Jimmy Slide at the time, and this idea of, okay, if you're young and you're coming up, you have to pay your dues. You have to go through certain processes to make things make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you go through A before you get to B. If you go straight to B, something's going to be a little off unless you somehow get the experience of having been at A.
Right.
And so that's where that name ended up landing.
Well, I think it's a great name. I mean, when
thank you.
When you advertise the company, do you say CPD PLUS, or do you say Cats Paying Dues, or do you do both, or so people
both.
know? You do both?
Right now we do both.
Good.
So,
good.
Yeah,
Keep it that
we'll
way.
Throw cats. Yeah.
That captures the interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to see what these cats are doing,
Right, exactly. How
you add a lot of
are
mystery
they
to
paying
it.
their dues? Sorry, David,
well,
you were saying?
You
David?
add a lot of mystery to it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, also, your company's been involved with Come Together, an anti-bullying program, and this is a very, very important cause to both David and I. Can you tell us more about it?
Sure. So, I guess a couple of years ago now, we were starting company rehearsals, and the first tune that we were working on was Tonight, 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 which is this old Genesis tune that's about addiction. Mm-hmm. And in a company meeting, we were talking about, okay, well, what kind of opportunities do we have for performance, and what can we put out there that would be beneficial for audiences? And I mentioned to our management at the time that we were working on this tune, and they said, well, how about we pitch to a school and see what they would like, and we'll pitch, a tap dance history thing, or an anti-bullying thing, or just a performance, like a non-themed performance. So we pitched to the school, and the school loved the anti-bullying idea, mm-hmm. and so we, out of that single piece, we kind of fleshed out a half-hour performance that includes, themed dances, as well as true stories from every company member of bullying, intimidation, kind of awkward moments in their life. And the goal is really to provide a space for kids in the school. We've done this for fifth graders up through high school. Mm-hmm. And to really provide a space for those kids to have a discussion about bullying in general with, 5 other kids who've gone through it.
Right.
And we're not so old yet that we're out of their, generation in terms of relating.
To me, that's so very important to be able to bring something like that to the kids, because, us as parents can talk about it till we're blue in the face, and, you get the eye roll, and I know, and, wonder if the wind is blowing through both ears. But when it comes from somebody outside of the school, like what you guys are doing, that's so very important. It really stops it makes them stop and think, and maybe even come forward to discuss something.
Yeah, and we ask